When Victoria's lover sent me a picture of his kid late at night to provoke me, he didn't know she was already dead. He also didn't know that just yesterday, Victoria had set fire to our marital home before calling me in a rage. I told you, for us, it's widowhood, not divorce. Leo, she'd said, if you insist on leaving me, then we're going down together. I looked at the black and white photo of Victoria in my hand, tallied up the assets she'd left behind, and calmly blocked her little lover. 15 years, through thick and thin. In the end, our love left one of us dead and the other wounded. But the good news? She was the one who died. I just got my heart broken. After returning from a professional development program abroad, I attended my first industry gala of the year. It was buzzing. Took me a moment to get used to it again. Mr. Harris and my best friend, Alex, saw me and walked over. Leo, we've been waiting a whole year for you to come back for good. How was it over there? Not bad, I said, smiling as I greeted them. I brought you guys back some gifts. They're still at customs, but I'll have them sent over. Alex leaned in, a teasing look on his face. Leo, you're being pretty low-key today. Victoria's company is huge now. You could stand to be a little more ostentatious. Mr. Harris chimed in. Leo, why aren't you wearing that watch Victoria won at auction a while back? The movement on that thing is top tier. She bought it at an exclusive Only Love auction for over $10 million. It was made by the same master watchmaker as Marie Antoinette's famous pocket watch. You should have brought it to let us feast our eyes on it. The more they talked, the more confused I got. What watch? Mr. Harris covered his mouth and laughed. Oh, come on, Leo. Everyone in New York knows Victoria bought that watch for you. Don't be shy. It's all about flexing your wealth these days. The more I heard, the more something felt wrong. I don't know anything about a watch. Mr. Harris had been joking, but when he heard me repeat myself, his smile slowly faded. That's impossible. You've been back from Vancouver for 2 days, and Victoria hasn't been away on business. With a piece like that, how could she not give it to you right away? Maybe she just got busy and forgot, Alex suggested. Leo, why don't you go home and drop a hint? Just then, an incredibly handsome young man walked past us. He was wearing a striking designer suit that immediately caught everyone's eye. It was made of a velvet material, and the tailored cut made him look tall and well-proportioned. The back of the jacket featured an intricate embroidered design, a passionate red that radiated both rebellion and elegance. He's pretty handsome. I've never seen him on the NYC scene before. I think Mr. Wallace's nephew just got back from studying in France. Could that be him? No, Wallace's nephew is older than that. Not that young. A few other familiar faces came over to talk with us. Could he be some CEO's boy toy? No way, Mr. Harris said after a moment. Do you know what this event is? It's the annual industry gala. You need credentials to get in. Someone like that wouldn't make it through the door. The group started debating, but I was frozen to the spot. If I remembered correctly, that suit was one of a kind. It was the one I wore at my wedding in Singapore. I couldn't be mistaken. I took a deep breath. If there were no knockoffs and my design sketches hadn't been leaked, then that suit had to be one of the ones I wore for my wedding. And after the wedding, I had brought all of those suits back to New York and placed them in my climate-controlled display case. How could someone else be wearing it? A number of terrible thoughts flooded my mind. I felt like my head was spinning. The gala was spread across several ballrooms, and Victoria wasn't in this one. Otherwise, I could have just asked her directly, or at least tried to read the truth in her eyes. But now, of all times, she wasn't by my side. I took a sip of red wine, and my phone suddenly vibrated. I frantically checked the message. Do you believe love can last forever? Someone had texted me. It was a completely random question. I waited for the follow-up. A few seconds later, another message came through. If you saw what I look like, you'd understand why your wife is cheating on you. Attached was a photo. Pale wrist, adorned with an expensive watch. In an instant, I understood everything. That watch Mr. Harris and the others had been gushing about, Victoria hadn't forgotten about it. She had given it to someone else. I examined the watch in the picture closely. Mr. Harris was right. It was from the same master as Marie Antoinette's famous timepiece, with a top-of-the-line movement. Oh my God, Leo. Alex called my name. Look, that guy just changed into another suit. And the watch he's wearing, it looks just like the one Victoria bought at the auction. I followed Alex's gaze and froze. The watch on the man's wrist was identical to the one in the photo. I think I knew who sent the text. I suddenly found it hard to breathe. As I glanced around, my eyes met the young man's. After the gala ended, I walked toward a tree-lined path nearby. Sure enough, the man followed me. He wore polished leather shoes, and today's suit made him look even taller. I stood there, silently waiting for him to speak. He, on the other hand, seemed to have absolute confidence in himself, holding his head high. My name is Julian. I'm a model. I just turned 22. With that, he pulled out his phone, unlocked it, and held it out to me. The screen showed a cherubic little boy. This is Cody, my son. Victoria adores him. She needs an heir. You know what that means. She's going to dump you and make things official with me. I looked at Julian. He was so young, and so naive. So naive it was almost laughable. I didn't know what Victoria had told him, but I knew she would never let him into the family. Not for at least another 10 years, anyway. If I didn't initiate a divorce, Victoria would never leave me. Because in this world, I knew her better than anyone. The thing she cared about most was money, and the most meaningful thing in the world to her was making more of it. She would never divorce me and let me take half her fortune. I looked at the man in front of me. I'll be waiting for you and Victoria to make it official. If that day ever comes, I'll be sure to attend the ceremony and give you a huge wedding gift. Julian paid my words no mind and turned his head away. Who cares about your money? Once I'm with Victoria, all her money will be mine. I couldn't help but let out a short, sharp laugh. How could anyone on earth be that stupid? It was ridiculous. When I got home, the entire villa was pitch black. I tried flipping the light switch, but nothing happened. I wasn't in a good mood after the gala. Dealing with this on top of everything else, I felt myself starting to crack. Suddenly, a single candle flickered to life on the dining room table. Then smooth jazz began to play. One by one, candles on the living room floor lit up. Finally, I could see they formed the shape of a heart. Victoria slowly descended the stairs, holding a bouquet of flowers. In her other hand was a lavish, square velvet box. Leo, Victoria said, a smile in her eyes. She opened the box and took out a watch. She looked at me, her expression gentle. I was so busy the last few days, I forgot to give this to you right away.
I'm sorry, darling.
Victoria patiently adjusted the watch on my wrist. It's our wedding anniversary today. Do you like it, sweetheart? I looked down at the watch. It was truly stunning. It even seemed a bit nicer than the one the man at the gala was wearing. But I knew this one was a fake. Everyone had told me that Victoria bought a watch at auction. One and only one. And the one she bought was already on that man's wrist. So the one on my wrist right now had to be a fake. I looked down and met Victoria's gaze as she looked up. I don't like it. What? Victoria looked stunned for a second. Honey, did I hear you correctly? What's wrong? You don't seem yourself. Are you sick? She reached out to touch my forehead. Do you have a fever? I turned my head, avoiding her touch. I unclasped the watch. Victoria, I don't like fake things. Fake sincerity. Fake watches. I didn't want any of it. What are you talking about? Victoria forced a smile. Leo, we've been together for so many years. Why would I ever give you something fake? I took out my phone, opened my texts, and found the picture the man had sent me. If the one you gave me is real, then where did this one come from? A flash of panic crossed Victoria's face. Where did you get that photo? It does look a little like the one I gave you. Her words made me laugh. Victoria, can you be a little tougher than that? Stop lying. You know you get nervous every time you lie. Hearing this, Victoria dropped the smile completely. She looked at me calmly. Leo, where did that picture come from? Tell me and I'll take care of it. Her words made me want to laugh even more. Can you stop pretending, Victoria? Don't you know exactly where this picture came from? Whoever you gave the watch to is the one who sent it to me. Victoria fell silent. Her brow furrowed as she placed her hands on my shoulders. Leo, I swear to you, the one I gave you isn't fake. You're the one who's been with me through everything. How could I possibly give you a fake? I tossed the watch back to her. You're right. If I hadn't seen this picture, I would have never believed you'd give me something fake. And if that man hadn't shown up in front of me, I would have never believed that you, Victoria, would one day cheat on me. Enough! Victoria slammed the watch down on the table. I told you I'll handle it. Now stop making a scene. Then her tone softened. Leo, you have to understand you're not like those people on the outside. Even if I have other men, they could never threaten your position. I just want a child. I love children. Don't you get that? Before Victoria could finish, I slapped her across the face. You love children? You think I don't? Victoria's lips moved, but she didn't say anything. My mind flashed back to that day. 4 years ago, I was in the U for medical treatment. Our daughter, Annie, was only 5. I couldn't bear to put her through a long trip, so I didn't take her with me. Victoria promised me over and over that she would take good care of her, so I finally got on the plane with peace of mind. One afternoon, I had a terrible feeling I couldn't shake, so I video called Victoria. I wanted to see my daughter. Victoria explained, apologetically, that she was swamped with work, the nanny had taken the day off, and her assistant was busy helping with reports. So, our daughter hadn't been picked up from kindergarten yet. I was frantic and told her to go get Annie from school immediately. Victoria agreed. But for the next hour, I heard nothing back. I called her frantically, but the calls wouldn't go through. 2 hours later, the phone finally connected. Victoria's voice was hoarse when she spoke. Leo, I'm so sorry. Something happened to Annie. She's gone. Victoria's words were like a lightning bolt. I couldn't even stand. I had to grab the table to keep from collapsing. What did you say? Victoria, don't joke with me. Let me see Annie. My daughter. My precious, treasured daughter. But Victoria was telling me, my daughter had passed away just a few days after I left the country. I couldn't accept it. No one on earth could accept it. I was in the hospital, scheduled for surgery the next day. But my own health was the last thing on my mind. I flew back home that night. The next time I saw Annie, she was lying there, perfectly still. She was completely transformed. From a few friends who came to comfort me, I learned the full story. Victoria had an enemy in the business world, a former partner who had become a rival after a dispute over profits. That partner left for another company and took some of our company's secrets with him. Victoria planned to take legal action to protect her rights. But she had no idea the man was a desperate criminal. He started staking out the kindergarten day after day, planning to use our child's life to threaten Victoria into dropping the lawsuit. That day, since I was abroad and couldn't pick up my daughter, and the nanny happened to be off, Victoria was too busy with work. No one went to get Annie, which gave the man his chance. Back when he and Victoria were close, he had occasionally picked Annie up along with his own son. So Annie knew him, and so did the kindergarten teachers. Just like that, the man took my daughter away, along with his own son. He never actually intended to harm Annie. His goal was to scare Victoria, to use Annie's life as leverage to make her drop the lawsuit and all charges. But that day, a truck lost control, ran a red light, and slammed into the man's car. The car flipped, completely mangled. All 3 people inside were killed. My daughter, the little girl I had cherished for 5 years, died in that car. And the man responsible for her death died in the same crash. Victoria and I had no one left to hold accountable. That day, I knelt there, my voice choked with grief, my fists clenched. I couldn't imagine how terrified my sweet little Annie, who was so afraid of pain, must have been in that moment. For 2 days straight, I didn't eat or drink anything. After we said our final goodbyes to Annie, I sat in her room, staring at her old dolls, biting my lips so hard that it bled. I was filled with hate. I hated that such a freak accident had to happen to my daughter. I hated that I couldn't have been there to take the pain for her. Victoria knelt on the floor, telling me she was sorry over and over. She slapped herself repeatedly, her eyes red, tears streaming silently down her face. Don't do this, Leo. Don't hurt yourself. I'm begging you. This is my fault, all my fault. It was me. Please don't punish yourself, okay? You did nothing wrong. It was me. If I hadn't gone after him, if I had just picked Annie up on time, this never would have happened. I'm so sorry. It's all my fault. Why did he have to use my daughter to threaten me? I was the one suing him. He should have come after me. He could have stabbed me, and I wouldn't have said a word. Why did he have to use Annie? For me, that period was like the sky falling. I fell ill quickly. I had originally gone to the U to have a small tumor removed. Because I had rushed back home, the surgery was never done. After what happened to Annie, I was so devastated that I didn't even want the surgery anymore. Many friends came to visit, but no one could persuade me. Finally, Victoria knelt at the door of my hospital room. She said she had already lost Annie and couldn't lose me too, that I was her whole life. If I refused treatment and let myself waste away, the day I was gone, she would follow me. In the end, I agreed to the surgery. It was an 8-hour operation. Victoria sat outside, not eating or drinking a thing, anxiously waiting for 8 hours. After the anesthesia wore off, she gripped my hand tightly, thanking God for giving me back to her. In the crushing days after losing our daughter, Victoria and I supported each other, slowly lifting one another out of despair. Our friends, seeing us emerge from the darkness, would all remark on how strong we were as a couple. Alex once looked at me with such envy. Back then, I also believed Victoria was the most perfect wife in the world. I thought that in our flawed life we would walk together until the very end. But I never imagined this is how our story would end. Let's get a divorce, I said, looking at Victoria. Victoria let out a sudden, cold laugh. Leo, are you kidding me? Why would you bring up divorce out of the blue? Her brow furrowed. I already told you the watch I gave you is real. Why don't you believe me? There's nothing left for us to talk about. I grabbed my bag from the sofa. Get a lawyer soon. I'll have mine contact you. I practically stumbled out of the house. I had never thought that Victoria and I would end up like this. We had supported each other through so much, gained so much and lost so much. How could an ending like this be worthy of the rough road we traveled together? I hailed a cab to the apartment I owned near my office. Just as I walked in the door, I got a call from Alex. I answered. Leo, what do I do? Grace wants a divorce. I thought I could just let it go. The cheating, the other guys, all of it. I was just going to focus on protecting my daughter's inheritance and get through this life. But now, hearing this only deepened my own misery. Alex and I were kindred spirits. We hadn't known each other for very long. But in the world of the wealthy, he was my closest friend. He was good-natured and empathetic, though sometimes a bit too soft. But I didn't see that as a bad thing. I've always believed that sensitivity is a gift from a higher power. Back when I lost Annie, if it weren't for Alex visiting me in the hospital, comforting and guiding me, I never would have emerged from that darkness so quickly. Leo, he said, my daughter is still at summer camp in London. When she comes back, what am I supposed to tell her? She left with a whole family, and when she comes back, there will be nothing left. I temporarily set aside my issues with Victoria and started helping Alex figure things out. I had met his daughter, Chloe. She was 7, well-behaved, and incredibly sweet. Should you have a family member or someone you trust pick her up from London first? I suggested after a moment. Has Grace mentioned the terms of the divorce? Will she fight you for custody? No, Alex said, his voice steadying. She said she'll let me have our daughter. That's good, I said, feeling relieved. Alex was an excellent father. He had raised his daughter himself, never relying on others. I knew how much he adored her and that, in a divorce, he would fight with everything he had to get custody. Now that Grace wasn't interested in custody of Chloe, Alex had one less thing to worry about. Then the next step is to negotiate the settlement and division of marital assets. You should hire a legal team, I continued. Okay, Alex agreed readily. Leo, you're highly educated and have seen the world. I'll listen to you. Thanks for telling me what to do. Don't mention it, I said softly. Actually, I paused for a moment, then decided to tell the truth. I'm about to get divorced, too. What? Alex was completely shocked. What happened, Leo? Victoria cheated, I said, taking a deep breath. Remember that guy at the gala you pointed out to me? He's the lover Victoria has been keeping. How could that be? Alex's voice grew quiet. Are you sure there isn't some misunderstanding? No, I said, shaking my head. Then I realized he couldn't see me shaking my head over the phone. I quickly stopped the foolish gesture. Remember the watch that guy was wearing? That's the one Victoria bought at the auction. No way, Alex said doubtfully. Leo, are you sure you're not mistaken? The watch he was wearing looked similar to the one Victoria bought, but it definitely wasn't the same one, they just looked alike. But the quality was worlds apart. The one Victoria bought at the auction was obviously 100 times more valuable than the one that guy was wearing. What? I froze. Are you sure you saw that right? I'm positive, Alex replied firmly. Now my mind was in even more of a turmoil. Do you think you might have misunderstood Victoria? Alex asked cautiously. No, definitely not, I replied after a moment of thought. I had a sharp sense that even if that watch was a fake, it didn't mean Victoria hadn't betrayed me. It was very likely that there was much more to this story. I quickly contacted a private investigator I knew. After I explained the general situation, he replied quickly. You're saying she demanded to know who sent you the text? Yes. The PI called me. If she admitted to cheating, that means she doesn't care if you know. But she demanded to know who sent the text. She probably wasn't playing dumb. It was more like what? With the PI's prompting, a theory began to form. Are you saying she didn't know which one of her lovers sent me the text? Which means I quickly put it together. She has more than one lover? Exactly, the PI confirmed my thoughts. That's what I was thinking, too. Based on the current evidence, that seems to be the case. 3 days later, the PI sent me the file. We were right. Victoria really did have more than one lover. One up north, one down south. She really knew how to live it up. With this information, I had more leverage to fight for the assets I deserved. Victoria and I agreed to meet. When I brought up divorce again, she shot up from the sofa. I just don't get it, Leo. What's the point of pushing for a divorce? Why can't we just be a power couple and make money together in this city? Are you trying to make me regret this? Trying to back me into a corner? If so, I suggest you give up. I'm not afraid of being threatened. I had no interest in hearing her nonsense. I placed a copy of the divorce agreement on the table. I don't want to spend any more time with someone like you, so let's make this quick. We both have significant prenuptial assets, which were all legally documented. So, marriage or divorce, it doesn't affect our control over our own wealth. However, I want 70% of your money as compensation. Agree or disagree? Think it over. You've got to be kidding me. Victoria swept the tea set off the table. Leo Grant, you've got some nerve. Do you have any idea how much money that is? Your money is still your money, nothing to do with me, but I have to give you that much of mine? Do you take me for a fool? It's compensation. You can refuse, but I will hire the best lawyers and take you to court. Even if it becomes a public spectacle and everyone is talking about us, I will fight you to the bitter end. Victoria was silent. Finally, I lost my patience and threw a portion of the PI's file in front of her. What else do you have to say, Victoria? You're not ashamed, but I am. One is a minor influencer, the other is a fledgling model. Should I say you're lucky in love, or that you're playing with fire? I lowered my voice. Neither of them are complete nobodies. Once this gets out, are you sure it won't cause a massive storm online? And in the business world, will people joke about your scandalous affairs? Or will they whisper behind your back about how dirty you play? Victoria's company was in creative arts and educational tech. She knew better than anyone in the world how important her reputation was. Either give me the money and let me walk away from the marriage willingly, or drag this out until we're both destroyed and I post everything online. I don't think it was a difficult choice. I looked at Victoria and said, word by word, I'm not the one at fault here, so no matter how messy this gets, I won't be the one who's ashamed. Victoria, you've always believed that when you do something wrong, you should pay the price. Why is it different now that it's your turn? Why do we have to go down the path of divorce? I just wanted a child. Is that such a terrible crime? Don't try to sweep this under the rug. I don't stand for betrayal. Victoria, from the moment you did this, you should have known what we were facing. Before Victoria could leave, someone else showed up. It was Julian, the tall man I had seen at the gala. It was clear he was the favored one of her two lovers, which made him extra arrogant. The PI had given me his file. He had been in the industry for a year and had known Victoria for 6 months. He was certainly efficient. Though he was a model, Julian's looks weren't exactly top tier. Julian stood before Victoria, striking a pose that was somehow both subservient and fawning. The two of them were all over each other right in front of me, as if putting on a show for my benefit. Julian seemed very attentive, standing behind Victoria, asking her questions and fussing over her constantly. The suit he wore at the gala had been so well tailored that I hadn't noticed anything unusual about him. "Leo," Julian said, and I had no idea what he was thinking. "I know you must hate me, but I truly love Victoria. I'm not saying this to break you two up. I hope you and her can reconcile." Victoria was visibly moved by his words. "Julian, you've been through so much. Seeing this pair act this way made my blood boil. But right now, I didn't have time to be angry. I needed to focus all my energy on getting as much as I possibly could for myself. Money and reputation were the two things Victoria cared about most. I was determined to take them both." Victoria indignantly helped Julian to his feet. "It doesn't matter if you kneel here. Even if you died for him today, he wouldn't forgive you. A cold man like him doesn't deserve you begging him like this." Victoria looked at Julian as if he were a priceless treasure. That look used to be reserved for me. Now she could give it to whoever she wanted. I didn't care anymore. After Victoria and Julian left, I glanced up at the cameras around the room. They were all connected to my phone, and for the last 20 minutes they had been live streaming. I could have easily hired bodyguards to keep Victoria and Julian out. But I didn't. Not because I couldn't, but because I needed to gather more evidence. Julian wanted to make my life hell, so I was going to ruin his. As for Victoria, she deserved far worse. I wasn't going to let her just walk away quietly. She couldn't stay faithful, but she couldn't part with her money. So I would make her lose face completely. I don't let anyone wrong me. Anyone who betrays me deserves a bad end. As the story blew up, Victoria and Julian became increasingly famous. They became bona fide public figures, with people filming them on their phones wherever they went. A few days later, I saw a story about Victoria losing her temper and smashing several bystanders' phones. That really made her go viral. She blew up. I own several media companies, so I know the power of public opinion. That night, I struck while the iron was hot, having my team release more information and continuously steer the narrative to ensure Victoria took as much heat as possible. This was all what she deserved. I showed no mercy. If she wanted a child, she could have found a time to talk to me about it, to explain things clearly. I would have helped her. I would have divorced her and let her go gracefully to pursue what she wanted. I would never cling to anyone. But she chose the most extreme path. She didn't just cheat. She let her lover parade in front of me, taunt me, and humiliate me. Since Victoria wouldn't let me live in peace, then nobody was going to. The story of Victoria cheating with Julian and trying to use a child to secure her position raged online for months. Every day I could find new dirt on her online. A large part of it was leaked by people I hired. I had saved copies of Victoria's company's financial records and various documents from before. Slowly, I began to realize there was much more to Victoria than I had ever seen. She was even capable of tax evasion and cooking the books. Those two things alone were enough to ruin her completely. After a heavy rainstorm, I received a text from Julian. He told me Victoria had decided to bring his son, Cody, home to live with them. His words were dripping with smugness and ridicule for me. "I gave the family an heir, a son. How can you compare to me? Don't think your decade-plus relationship with Victoria means anything next to me. We're soulmates." He even sent me a photo of himself with the boy, Cody. I hadn't blocked him precisely for this reason, waiting for him to do something stupid. And sure enough, he was an absolute moron. I was just running out of new material, and he delivered it right to my doorstep. Instead of trying to distance himself and let the scandal die down, he chose this critical moment to confirm everything and show off pictures of the child. Not even God could save him now. For the past few months, Victoria and Julian had been living together. And now they had a child in name. It was getting dangerously close to bigamy. I would make them pay. As Victoria became more infamous, my name was mentioned more and more within our social circle. Many believed in keeping the peace to protect business, and they looked down on what I was doing. Some trust fund kids thought I was an idiot for not just enjoying the comfortable life my wife had built, and instead making a scene that embarrassed us both. Whenever I heard such comments, I just scoffed. I didn't care about their negative opinions. My comfortable life was something I was born into. My mother's comfortable life was also something she was born into. And the person who gave us all of this was my maternal grandfather. Even without Victoria, my life would have been fine. She, on the other hand, would have never risen so quickly in the business world without my support and help. If she couldn't recognize her place, I didn't mind reminding her. To make sure more people understood our marital situation and to keep the adulteress on blast, Alex and I both started accounts on all the major social platforms, sharing our lives and the state of our marriages. In no time, we gained a whole community of online divorce buddies. Public opinion is incredibly powerful. When necessary, my social media could be my mouthpiece, a tool to leverage my position. This series of moves made Alex and me the two oddballs of the elite circle. As the new year approached, New York City was preparing for its annual joint business gala. Alex and I received our invitations early. To keep our social media accounts trending, Alex and I had to make public appearances. So we never missed an industry event. This joint gala was one we definitely had to attend. The day arrived. I had some things to take care of and couldn't get there early, so I had Alex go ahead. I didn't arrive until the event was well underway. As I was about to find a seat, I overheard a group nearby discussing Alex and me. I really don't get what they think they're accomplishing by airing their wives' dirty laundry online. It's just embarrassing, totally useless. They had such good lives, and they threw it all away to become content creators. Aren't they afraid of being laughed at? Leo Grant is so arrogant. He's an Ivy League grad, you know. He looks down on all of us. A while ago, hearing comments like that might have made me go over and argue. Now, I was completely unfazed. What others said was their problem, not mine. I wouldn't let their words affect my mood. Ultimately, the reason they thought that way was because they were powerless. If they had the ability to fight back against anything, they wouldn't be standing here, being both pathetic and pitiful, making snide remarks about others. Alex walked by with a glass of champagne, not noticing me. Before he could get far, someone pulled him over to their group. The person started with a condescending remark. Alex, it's one thing for Leo to be arrogant, but why are you going along with his nonsense? Your education is average, your family background is nothing special, you don't have much of a fortune, and your acting career ended a long time ago. Do you really think you can maintain this lifestyle without your wife? If you ask me, your situations are different. You shouldn't be following Leo's lead. He went way too far recently, picking a huge fight with Victoria. They despise each other now. But you're different, Alex. You and Grace haven't reached that point yet. You still have time to go and beg her for forgiveness. Yeah, someone else chimed in. Alex, I'm telling you, Leo just wants someone to drag down with him. That's why he's encouraging you to get divorced. Don't hang around him or people will start laughing at you too. I watched Alex from a distance. He was soft-hearted and easily trusted others, and he used to get tricked a lot. I wondered if he would believe them today and start to resent me. To be honest, in that moment, I couldn't guarantee that he trusted me completely. A few more people gathered around, some to watch the show, others to persuade Alex. Someone tried to take Alex's arm, but he pushed them away. Leo is my closest friend. When you talk about him like that, it's no different from talking about me. I stood frozen for a moment, then my brow relaxed into a smile. The friend I genuinely wanted to help trusted me unconditionally and defended me. That felt good. Everything I had done was worth it. Just as Alex was about to walk away, I called his name. Across the 5 or 6 people and a row of drinks between us, Alex froze. In that instant, he turned and our eyes met. Leo! In front of everyone, he excitedly rushed over to me, standing by my side in solidarity. I walked toward him, too. That night, a post about Victoria appeared out of nowhere. One watch, three loves? Passion or plot? From the moment it was published, the post shot to the top of the trending topics. Although I didn't name names, based on the information I had already revealed, the internet quickly figured out who the main characters were. The title was just for clicks. In reality, Victoria hadn't prepared just one watch. She had prepared three. One was the authentic one from the auction. The other two were custom-made fakes. The watch Victoria gave me was indeed real. She wasn't lying at the time. As for why she had two fakes made, it was, of course, to keep things fair. The day Victoria won the expensive watch at auction, both of her lovers saw the news on their phones and started clamoring for it. But that was the watch she had intended to give me for our anniversary. Desperate, Victoria had a designer make two replicas. But due to different materials and gem-cutting techniques, they only looked similar on the surface and lacked the true essence. Every time I thought about it, I found Victoria's logic to be bizarre. She was just too ridiculous. I opened my phone and started scrolling through the online comments. Alex sat beside me, his phone buzzing nonstop. He handed it to me with a helpless expression. The messages were from Grace, who was currently in the middle of a messy divorce battle with him. She had initially offered to give up custody of their daughter and let Alex keep 30% of the marital assets, but she changed her mind the very next day. Her lover wouldn't let her give her ex-husband that much compensation, so he convinced her to use their daughter as leverage. If Alex wanted custody, he couldn't take a single penny. Left with no other choice, Alex turned to the legal system to resolve the matter. Grace was originally a wealthy socialite, and everyone in their circle catered to her. But after her father passed away, her family nearly went bankrupt. All the people who had once fawned over her vanished like smoke. During Grace's most difficult time, it was Alex who supported her with his own savings, helping her get back on her feet. Therefore, he was entitled to a share of the marital assets and company stock. Besides, he would be raising their daughter on his own. He couldn't walk away with nothing. The court battle had been draining, and Alex had invested a lot of energy into it. I read through the texts carefully. Where are you? Are you at Leo's place again? I just don't get it. What could you possibly learn from him? Are you at Leo's house or not? If you're not coming back, I'm coming to find you. And when I find you, I'll make you pay a painful price. Give me my daughter back. I haven't seen her in months. She's my only child, and I won't let you take her from me. If you don't video call me within the hour so I can see my daughter, I will kill you. I mean it. Alex seemed relatively calm after reading the messages. At least calmer than I was. Seeing my worried expression, he even tried to comfort me. It's fine, don't worry about it. She says stuff like that all the time. They're all just empty threats. I sighed. All right, but you still need to be careful. Alex glanced at Chloe, who was asleep in the hospital bed. Good thing I listened to you and brought Chloe back from London. Otherwise, if Grace had gotten a hold of her, she would definitely be using that to threaten me. I tucked Chloe's blanket in and gently stroked her forehead. Her fever's gone down, Alex. Don't worry too much. Chloe had suddenly spiked a high fever in the evening. The nanny who usually cared for her had to go home for a family emergency. So Alex and I rushed her to the hospital. Thankfully, it wasn't anything serious. She had finished her fever was gone, and her little face was no longer flushed. To prevent the fever from returning, Alex and I decided to stay at the hospital for the night and check Chloe out in the morning. My phone rang. To avoid waking Chloe, I quickly stepped outside. When I answered, I heard Victoria's voice. Julian and I are done. His mother is pressuring him to use the kid to blackmail me. She said if I don't give them $100 million, she'll go to the police and report me for abandoning them. Are you happy now, Leo? Now all the rich kids in town are laughing at me, saying I'm just some low-class striver who doesn't know any better, giving my lovers fake watches? Are you proud of yourself, Leo? Why aren't you home yet tonight? I've been waiting at your villa for a long time. Get back here right now. We need to have a serious talk. I had no idea how much Victoria had had to drink, but her words were all jumbled. Leo, do you believe I'll burn your house down? You're so proud of yourself, aren't you? Let's see how proud you are then. People like you have had it too easy your whole life. You need to suffer a little to realize how good you had it with me. If it comes to it, I'll take you down with me. I will not let you get away with this. I will not let you win. I hung up, not taking Victoria's words seriously. Talking to someone like her was a waste of time. Whatever needed to be discussed could be handled by our lawyers in the morning. The VIP suite had a small room attached for family to rest. To be able to check on Chloe during the night, Alex and I decided not to get a hotel nearby and just crash in the small room. The bed wasn't big, but it was enough for two people to squeeze in. Late at night, I kept hearing a buzzing sound. I had just fallen asleep and could barely open my eyes. I didn't want to answer the phone. I swiped to decline the call, planning to call back in the morning. Alex's phone screen was lit up, too. I glanced over and saw that someone was calling him as well. He had been running around all day and was exhausted. He didn't even stir. Drowsiness washed over me, and I reached over to turn off Alex's screen as well. The next morning, the sound of Alex getting up woke me. I sat up, deciding to call back the number from last night. Suddenly, Alex spoke. Why do I have so many missed calls? Who is this? I don't recognize this number at all. Before calling back, I glanced at the number on Alex's phone. I was about to tell him I had silenced it for him last night when the number itself shocked me. The missed calls on both our phones were from the same number. I dialed it back, feeling a sense of unease. When I heard what the person on the other end said, I felt like I had been hit over the head. I couldn't process it. What did you say? Victoria, the person repeated themselves, and I just stood there, stunned. What's wrong, Leo? Alex looked at me, concerned. I gripped his hand tightly, a storm of complex emotions surging through me. I could barely form words. What is it? He asked again. I took a moment to compose myself. Victoria's dead. What? Alex's brow furrowed. How did it happen so suddenly? Last night, Grace went to my villa with a knife and started attacking whoever was there. She stabbed Victoria twice. Victoria was pouring gasoline all over the villa, planning to burn it down. But then, I continued, a wave of cold sweat washing over me. It just so happened that Chloe's nanny had a family emergency, and we were both at the hospital with Chloe. We escaped it. Now, Grace has been arrested for intentional homicide. The calls last night must have been to inform you. Alex was silent for a long time. He squeezed my hand, his grip getting tighter and tighter. We looked at each other, and in each other's eyes, we saw the same lingering fear. It was all so close. It was Chloe's sudden fever that saved us. Only in that moment did I truly believe it. Some things really are just meant to be. And for Alex and me, it just wasn't our time to go. 2 silent battles of divorce. Alex and I had won. Alex called the number back as well. After hearing the confirmed news, he hugged me, his voice hoarse. It's finally over. I don't have to live in fear anymore, worrying that Grace will take Chloe from me. Before his marriage, Alex had been a handsome, famous actor with a bright future. Grace was a well-known socialite. After her family's fortunes fell, Alex stood by her, using his savings to pay off her family's debts and helping her rebuild. Just as they were finally getting back on their feet after all the hardship, the family's old mansion caught fire. Alex pulled Grace from the flames, but he burned his arm and face, leaving ugly scars. After being ridiculed for his disfigurement, Alex fell into a deep depression and eventually left the entertainment industry. Although surgery later completely removed the scars from his face, it took Alex a long time to emerge from that shadow. It was Grace who had once publicly declared she would stand by her husband for life. But later, it was also her who said the scars on his face disgusted her just to think about. How could anyone get over that? Couldn't. My heart ached for Alex. He always showed his best side to others and kept his negative emotions to himself. He treated the world with kindness but was never treated kindly in return. I felt it was so unfair to him. Let's go, Alex said, taking my hand. Let's go get our audition numbers. Okay. Although we had both received a significant amount of money and gotten what we wanted, the future was long, and we both decided to focus on developing our careers. Compared to love, a career would never betray you. Seeing Alex muttering his lines as he walked, occasionally glancing at his phone, I clapped him on the shoulder. Don't worry. If the director doesn't pick you, I'll start an entertainment company just to make you a star. Deal, Alex said with a smile, giving me a quick hug and handing me his phone. I'm going in. Wait for my good news. You got it. I watched him walk into the audition room and looked up at the morning sun. The past was gone. No need to dwell on it. The road ahead was long, and it was bound to be brilliant.